It's Monday. It's morning.
And it's macabre. Welcome to another episode of Monday Morning Macabre on a Tuesday, 'cause life is hard, baby.
Life on a Wednesday.
My son has roseola, which is a full body rash.
Son
that
has a
babies-
box set of Rosie O'Donnell
Yeah.
stand-up.
He's got Rosie O'Donnell syndrome, so he's got a full body rash and also a sitcom. And he's been nonstop crying and didn't really sleep at all. So running on fumes in the Darce house, but we gotta get you your tent. It's a contractual obligation that if we don't get it by at least 24 hours after Monday midnight, I'm shot in the head. Okay?
Well, Darce, it may make you happier to hear that I found Rosie O'Donnell a heartfelt stand-up for only
Ooh.
$18.64 on DVD.
$1,864 is a snag, dude.
Snag and a half.
Snaggies, daddy.
Consider that a snag.
Excuse me, I'm trying to get snagged.
Oh,
Is this the snag store?
Is this the snag police? They come to you in your bed.
So yeah, that is why today's episode is coming out a day late.
Dude, he's got no hat, all cattle, and $1 short.
If you don't understand that reference, join the Patreon.
Yeah.
So if you're a Patreon member, go listen to the latest Patreon episode.
Yeah, you got a fucking bonus episode.
You got a bony oni.
Whoa.
Papa. So this... Oh, whoa. Sorry, that reminded me of that song.
Oh,
Everything
my
reminds me
monitor
of
is
him.
black. Can you hear me?
Ooh, I can.
And we're back.
And we're back. That's how we solve technical issues. Today, I'm going to be presenting scones with a little spooky boogie woogie woogie. And you know, it's times like these we learn to love again.
Rest in peace.
I think everyone by now has probably seen that video, but it's pretty dope.
Of Taylor Hawkins' son, just ripping.
Yeah, ripping, gripping, slapping
It happened surprisingly soon, I thought. Like it felt like his dad died very recently to ask, or I guess maybe the kid wanted to do it.
I was gonna say, you think like afterwards, like Dave Grohl was like, bro, too soon.
I think. Well, I'm surprised even like Dave Grohl can get on stage without like being a mess.
Oh, that's true. Okay, you're just saying in general being able to continue there. Well,
yes.
I feel like wasn't it like a year ago that it happened?
Taylor Hawkins? Nah. Oh, what?
I think it was, dude. I think it was longer than you think.
Do I relive Taylor Hawkins' death every day?
Are you thinking of the Sadie Hawkins dance?
Yeah, because that is dead, dude.
Were you? When was the last time you heard about a Sadie Hawkins?
I don't know. I never had one growing up.
Me neither.
So
I guess they are dead. I guess we've proved it.
You know when you're talking about something and you're trying to write down something else and you
type in like Sadie Hawkins.
I just typed in Taylor Hawkins dance instead of death. No, March 25th.
Oh. Okay, so like half a year ago.
I remember it because I listened to like the whole Coheed and Cambria album that he was a drummer for.
Oh, I didn't realize he was a drummer for Coheed and Cambria.
Yeah, the good album.
Was it the album that had that song that I know?
Yes, it definitely was.
Okay.
It's Coheed and Cambria 4, like the Good Apollo, like Burning Star or something or other.
Well, the one that was used in the trailer of the movie with the like sack boy.
Yes,
you know what I'm talking about. What was that?
It's called Nine. It was a Tim Burton.
Nine. Yes.
It wasn't stop animation. It was computer animation.
Yeah.
But yes,
Nine.
That's exactly what it was.
Okay.
You're thinking of the song "Welcome Home."
Welcome home. Thank you.
So if you guys need any Coheed and Cambria and you want a full podcast on Coheed and Cambria, let me know.
Let us know.
I don't think
we'll
anyone's
chat
ever
about
asked for that, but there must be one out there.
If you guys want a 9 film review and Coheed and Cambria Welcome Home discussion, just let us know. We're happy to do it.
There has to be one. The Armory Score, I think, is a Coheed and Cambria podcast.
There's a Coheed and Cambria. I don't understand podcasts
is.
about bands. What do they do? Just like talk about every song and be like, this song rips, bro.
Yeah, it's
like,
like, are you talking REM, RE Me?
Okay, I guess, but that one has a little bit of a twist.
The Armory Score is a weekly podcast where your hosts, Jackson and Molly, take you on a journey through the ridiculous discography of Coheed and Cambria, going track by track. So it has an end point if the band is like retired or dead or whatever. So
right.
It's
and honestly,
by
what's the
song
difference
by
these
song.
days?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's a great lead in to our
I hope
topic
so.
today. It's not really, but
yeah, I hope this is a Coheed and Cambria themed like.
Yeah, All That's Interesting wrote an article called Coheed and Cambria. Let's talk about it.
Coheed and Cambria is actually 4 cryptids that learned how to play instruments.
So Scones, today I'm going to be talking about vampire from Poland in the 17th century who was just dug up like a week ago.
Hell yeah, dude. Did he have a screen door in his submarine?
Well, it's a female, and it wasn't a vampire at all. It was a woman who didn't fit in.
I named the difference.
Let's talk about it.
Band.
Slick your hair back.
And let those dillies fly. I think I like this little catchphrase we've stumbled into.
Yeah, I think it's. I'm gonna get it tattooed on my right above my bare naked ladies tattoo.
Hell yeah!
And you can guess where that is.
Guess. Go ahead. Write in the comments. Yeah. Like, subscribe.
So All That's Interesting on September 7th.
Yes.
Dropped an arty.
Ooh, dropping arties.
Called Vampire Grave shows 17th century fear of woman who quote didn't fit in. This is by Adila Suleiman.
It is very funny how like women who are maybe like a bit off or like remotely independent.
Zoe Deschanel would be in the ground.
Pre like 1950, were just accused of being any monster.
If you weren't like fit into the exact societal norms dictated by white men.
What do you mean she's literate? Sounds like a mummy.
Sounds like witchcraft. Sounds like she's got incantations. So, yeah. So
and boy, have we moved away from the old ways.
Who knows? This is by Adila Suleiman, and
that's a sick fucking name.
It is a sweet name. A sharp sickle was placed across her neck, ready to decapitate her should she jolt awake after death.
That is how you kill vampires. That's one of the ways.
It's a pretty dope like thought process, and Coheed and Cambria should use that as the next album cover. But
sometimes I feel like I'm a vampire, Dars.
Honestly, talk to me about it.
So I burn in the sun.
Speak your truth. Yep. Yep.
When you stab me through the heart or cut off my head, I die.
Oh my god, it's quickly adding up.
Yeah, it's if it looks like a duck and it talks like a duck. It's probably a fucking duck, dude.
Probably a duck. Duck goose, baby.
That is my favorite part of some monsters is like their weaknesses are just
their weakness is just getting fucking murdered.
Yeah, like you shoot it with a silver bullet, like that would kill anything.
Yeah, that would kill most things. Yeah, just drive a stake through its heart and cut its head off. It's like, well, unless you're dealing with the blob, I guess. I don't know.
Ooh.
Impervious
blob.
to decapitation.
Interior crocodile alligator.
Alligator.
Almost lost it.
So a sharp sickle was placed around her neck, ready to decapitate her should she jolt awake after death, and a padlock was put around her big toe. That's what scientists found. They excavated the corpse of a woman they believed was suspected of being a vampire in 17th century Poland.
Until you prove me wrong in the rest of this article.
Just accessory?
I assume she's a vampire as well.
Okay.
Prove me wrong.
The unnamed woman, read vampire if you're scones,
yes,
thought to be young and of a high social class. Given that she was buried in a silk scarf, was probably accused of being supernatural because she stood out, experts said. So don't stand out, everybody. Fit in.
Please do not.
A large protruding tooth may have provided some clues. A professor from Poland's Nicholas Copernicus University in Turin said burials involving a sickle are extremely unusual.
Isn't that one of like the schools of witchcraft and wizardry? What did you just say?
Talking about Nicholas Copernicus University in Turin?
Yeah, that's a secondary school for wizards and witches.
That's the community college down the road from Hogwarts. Nicholas Copernicus University. Archaeologists from the university made the discovery in the southern village of Pien. P-I-E-N? Peen?
Oh, I've been peeing.
Pien. In the Eastern European nation last month and published their findings this week. Quote, ways to protect against the return of the dead include cutting off the head or legs, placing the deceased face down to bite into the ground, burning them, and smashing them with a stone.
This college rules if this is what you're learning.
Darius Polinsky said, who led the research team. Instead, in this case, a sharp scythe is not laid flat, but placed on the neck in such a way that if the deceased had tried to get up, most likely the head would have been cut off or injured.
Bada bing, bada boom.
I like how they're like, yeah, vampires. You know, when they wake up out of their coffins, they immediately go into that right angle sitting pose.
They also have to go so fucking fast to cleanly cut off the head.
The woman's exhumed remains are now being studied by Polinsky's team.
Polinsky, get in there.
Get in there, Polinsky.
Polinsky.
Her burial reveals paranoia and fear around vampires, and the gender politics at the time. Stacey Abbott, author of, quote, Undead Apocalypse, Vampires and Zombies in the 21st Century, told the Washington Post on Wednesday. Charges of being vampires were often made against people who, quote, didn't fit in. Anxiety about vampires came from people being different, as was often the case in witchcraft accusations. Yep.
Hell
Still
yeah,
true
dude.
to this day.
If you know a woman in your town that has a strange or quirky hobby, she's probably a lake monster.
Yeah. Probably. Do you live near a lake? If not, could be a snow monster.
Ooh.
You know, a
Also,
Yeti.
yeah, she's a Yeti, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Fucking Yetis, man. I grew up in a trailer park with a bunch of Yetis,
Theo
dude.
Vaughn. Oh, no. He's returned from the dead. The sickle didn't work. The woman may have been singled out for her gender, a physical deformity, or any other social anomaly considered immoral, Abbott said, as people sought a, quote, supernatural explanation for those they perceived as outcasts. It is not unusual for vampiric graves to be found on roadsides or crossroads, said Bethan Briggs Miller, a British folklorist and paranormal historian.
That's one person?
Yep. Bethan Briggs Miller.
That sounds like a company.
It does. Yeah, like a law office of Bethan Briggs Miller. This is because the deceased were not permitted to be buried close to others or in consecrated grounds in cemeteries. The suspected individuals would often be buried with chains or multiple stakes driven through their bodies.
What happens if they're buried in the consecrated grounds?
Well, then they
I would think that would be like the place they have no power, right?
I think it's like first class ticket to heaven, and they're trying to ride in
they're trying to kick them back to the back of the plane.
Normal people plane section that I can't remember the name of.
Wow, you're so elitist now.
I was gonna say I'm such a 1%er that I can't remember the name of
Darcy
what normal people fly on.
Claps and stands up as soon as the plane lands.
I cheer as soon as we take off and throughout the entire flight. I can't stop.
I just scream whenever there's turbulence.
Yeah, we got together. We make a great duo on a plane.
Nightmare.
So the suspected individuals would often be buried with chains or multiple stakes driven through their bodies. Others found in such graves may have died by suicide. The fear was that they could, quote, have wandered the earth and risen from the grave, she said. Women were, quote, very susceptible to retaliation for any kind of accusation or anomaly, from refusing to marry, having a miscarriage, or even not menstruating, said Briggs Miller, co-host of the Eerie Essex podcast.
Real tough, because they don't have control over any of those things.
Yeah, not great. Not great.
Not great.
Oh, not great. It's not great.
It's not great, dearie. It's not.
Oh, it's me, Theo Vaughn.
Hey, mate.
Okay.
It's me and this one guy.
So her clothes indicate a high social status proves that such accusations of vampirism affected women from all stations. It was, quote, all part of this demonizing of women that took place for a long time. That sentence almost makes it sound like it stopped.
Yeah.
Which, not
We're
true.
keeping it alive, baby.
Well, if you stood out in any way...
Name one woman on this podcast.
Oh, no. Twitter, no.
Twitter. Shut up.
If you stood out in any way, similar to the witch trials, to be slightly different created the same sort of hysteria, she continued. It would have been a case of accuse first, otherwise you'd be accused yourself. That's the classic.
Yeah, you gotta accuse first. You gotta jump out in front of it. That's how I play Among Us.
Yep.
You gotta jump out and just start accusing wildly.
Yeah, you gotta. That's how you get. I remember I was the lead in the 7th grade. I was a lead in the 7th grade play of the Crucible at my middle school, and I played Thomas Putnam. And
hell yeah, dude.
You know, he was like, I gotta accuse people and take their land, like OG real big dog shit.
Tommy Putz.
TP. Toilet Putnam.
Old Toilet Putnam, brother. Yeah, no, I think that's why Among Us is popular. Is we don't get to flex these accusatory muscles anymore.
Yeah. Honestly, such a smart play by the developers.
Such a smart play.
Such a smart play.
It's really getting back to my primal roots.
Such a smart play.
Pointing at people and being like,
you did it.
Slightly different. Think they're mystical.
Mystical's maybe the best spin on this scenario.
Mystical.
Despite the 17th century medical community's relative lack of scientific knowledge about communicable diseases or mental health, the burials were performed with a great degree of pragmatism to prevent the dead from rising from the grave.
That's a fun word.
Pragmatism.
Like pragmatic's a great word.
Yeah, it's a solid wordle.
Big word. What? Isn't that too many?
Couple extra letters.
Yeah.
But you know what? When I play Wordle, I'll play 8-letter Wordle. Fuck.
Holy
play 9, 10 letter.
Holy,
I don't give a hoot.
Dude, he'll take it up to 20. He doesn't care.
I don't care. Give me a sentence or a phrase. I'll do it.
Do it. We'll wait.
I'm a Wordle champ, baby. Adieu. Coming back as a vampire was a fate worse than death. Accusations of vampirism were common across Europe at the time. Especially
wait, who's
in
it worse for? The vampire?
What? The coming back as a vampire was
a
fate worse than death?
It's fate worse than death, but the vampires
they're saying for the
individual, isn't it?
Well, no,
dope?
Well, they were saying if you're the person who becomes a vampire, it's worse than being dead because now you have to like walk the earth forever, constantly trying to get that blood.
If that were true, couldn't they just stake themselves?
I mean, I would assume that they don't have the
they're fully like,
you know what?
This is like feral vamps.
Yeah, I think we're on hashtag Team Feral Vamps.
Okay.
Like some 28 days later type vampirism.
Not like spooky, like
vampire.
fancy vampires.
Yeah, not like Dracula.
Not like
more like
chandelier and candlestick vampires.
No, like Midnight in North Carolina.
That's a fate worse than death, dude.
Anyway, accusations of vampirism were common across Europe at the time, especially in what are now Serbia, Romania, Greece, and Italy, she said. The church and other authorities were systematic in investigating and exhuming bodies and hunting for evidence of vampirism.
Is this based on like racism or a different religion that they chose those regions?
Who's they?
The church.
You mean the church?
That they're like Romania.
With like when they say like Italy, I'm like that's probably just a like proximity type deal.
Okay, they're not like hunting down like Serbs or like.
No, I don't. Well, maybe I don't fucking know. I don't know. They're like,
this idiot at all. It's interesting. Didn't do his research.
I don't know. They didn't tell me. I don't fucking know. The Pope could have just been like throwing a dart at a map and been like, "That's the place."
We got to take that back.
So the church and other authorities were systematic in investigating and exhuming bodies and hunting for evidence of vampirism, which could include a lack of decomposition, red cheeks, blood in the mouth, or swollen corpses.
I like blood in the mouth. It's very obvious.
Yeah, right. Which include big sharp fangs, cloaks,
slick back black hair,
bunch of bats,
a widow's peak,
the noise blast,
counting.
In some respects, these were very superstitious beliefs, but the investigative methods were very scientific, Abbott said.
Oh, I'm sure.
The myth of vampires has evolved over the centuries. Some historians trace their origins back to biblical references to Lilith, an apparently demonic wife of Adam who preyed on the weak and young.
Oh, she's a boss in Diablo.
Oh my goodness, you're right. She is. Oh my god.
I know her from that Diablo game.
Hey, you're in that video game. You're famous. Others cite the ancient Greek myth of Lamia, a bloodlusting demon who also fed off children.
That's sick.
The stories are common across the world, sliding on a scale between zombies and transformative bats. But they generally have some elements in common, experts say, such as an association with blood, feasting on the living, and being contagious. Vampires have long fascinated with modern imagination, from Bram Stoker's Dracula to the television hit Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the Twilight romance novels and movies, and the popular children's animation Hotel Transylvania.
This is bad podcasting, but I just looked up Lamia because I thought it was going to be some sick metal like demon shit.
Yeah.
And man, oh man, was I disappointed.
Aw, what's wrong?
It's just like...
Oh, it's like a cat.
It's a cat with a bored face.
Picture like a cat with scales and just a very like bored, like
very bored
someone
face.
Not like me watching NASCAR.
Yeah.
Face.
Shout out.
We are naturally drawn to dark stories, Briggs Miller told the Post,
Who?
explaining the century-old interest in vampires. For Abbott, our fascination has transformed over time. As we shift and change and our fears change, vampires often come to embody different things, she said. Originally linked to religion and fear, they are now given a, quote, more sympathetic treatment representing groups that have been oppressed, and we wish them happy endings rather than death. We like them.
Wow, this guy's gone soft on vampires, dude.
Has this person or have we all? We need to get back to...
dude. The America I grew up in was tough on vampires, dude. I grew up, I didn't see a single vampire.
It's the liberal media taking over the vampires.
Big sigh. Big sigh out of this guy.
Dude, Big Sigh is my favorite mountain, bro.
Dude, you climb Big Sigh?
Yeah, I'll climb Big Sigh, then Big Sur. They also allow the living to ponder the perennial question of life after death, said Abbott, stoking a morbid curiosity that continues to draw in readers, historians, and the public, not just on Halloween.
I'm drawn in, dude.
Did you know that Halloween is the day with the most pizza sales?
Are you serious?
Yeah, I thought it was the Super Bowl, but that's second. I learned this on like Jeopardy last night.
Wow, I would think it was like Father's Day.
Or no, that was on the news before Jeopardy.
Yeah, like I don't know. That's crazy
it's Halloween
to me.
Isn't that weird? I've never had pizza on Halloween, I don't think.
No, me neither. It sounds sick.
Although there's so many Halloween parties that makes sense.
Pizza.
Speaking of, I got to tell you about a Halloween themed thing that's happening in my town that I'm going to invite you to.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
Anyway, none of the listeners are invited, just you.
Good luck finding the town.
So, the article continues.
Oh,
the European historian and professor. What was that?
I'm just so happy that the article is continuing.
Oh. Okay. European historian and professor Martin Rady told the Post on Wednesday that, quote, there is nothing at all odd in this discovery. The use of a sickle across the neck was pretty tame, he added. This is not a vampire, but a revenant. All cultures have a belief in the undead, he explained, describing them generally as people that have led violent lives or died violently or have not been buried with the proper funeral rites.
There's something kind of cool about that. That every culture was like has some form of undead.
That they're like, living dead people are spooky.
Also, Darce, if I die, do not put a sickle in my box. If I'm coming back, I'm coming back, brother.
Okay, listeners, you heard it. No sickle in Scones' box.
None. And bury me in a mausoleum. Don't put me underground so I can
bury me in satin.
Pop open
lay me down with a sickle.
Go back about my business.
In some parts of Europe, bodies may be cut in two down the middle, or the head sliced off, or a stake driven through the corpse to pin it down, he continued.
Yeah, don't do any of
Chinese accounts. In Chinese accounts, one way to keep the corpse immobile is to bury it with rice. That's how to get the water out of it.
Yeah, that's... Fuck, the warranty's gone?
Since the undead like nothing better than to count rice grains.
Oh, that's true. That's noted.
That's a common. Everyone knows vampires are like, oh no.
Why do you think of everything you've ever seen Dracula in?
He's just like
There's-
raising a bald fist and looking at like a Goya billboard.
Yeah, there's never rice around because they wouldn't be able to film or like write
Right.
around that because it's so well
Right.
known and such a plot hole that he would just have to sit there and count every single one of those rice.
Yep. Similar accounts have been found in Europe, with seeds being sprinkled inside graves for suspected vampires to count until the sun comes up. There is incidentally nothing odd in the Revenant being a woman, Rady said of the Polish case. Quite why the locals feared the woman might become undead is unknown. Possibly something as simple as dying violently by falling off a cart. That's the end of the article.
Wait, what?
Yep. That's where it ends.
So she
The
died
end.
falling off a cart, or is he just like making?
No,
up
he's
stuff?
saying like they could have put that there. They could have thought like she might become a vampire just because she had like a violent death, like she fell off a cart.
That's. Is there a joke
Which
somewhere in the earlier in the article that I missed?
Nope. No, my dear
Or
boy.
a callback to
That's just-
anything?
No. Although there are 12 comments on the article. Let's see
Are
if
any of them
anyone
about the
mentions
cart?
cop. Wow.
Wow, lots of racism.
Ooh.
Is the top one like Andrew Tate being like, "Yeah, they are vampires"?
Yeah, it's actually Andrew _Tate _ really cool guy. One comment said it worked, which I like. Another one says it sucks to be a vampire. Very draining work.
That's just a classic, dude.
Yeah. So there's some fun in the comments, but yeah. So that's the vampire that was dug up, and by vampire we mean a woman who fell off a cart. So
Dude, I need some Halloween
it-
pizza. Is all I know.
yeah, Halloween Pizza Pie is the new podcast we're recording.
Oh, Thanksgiving
Um,
Eve. Yeah, that makes sense. That's a big one too. No one wants to cook Thanksgiving Eve, you know.
I know Chinese food's big on Christmas.
Yeah, pizza just didn't get that market though.
Yeah, Papa John's was like really dropped the ball.
Yeah. Well,
The
you know,
dough
my
ball, that
family, we
is.
just do a big old goose, like the biggest one in the window. Literally the
Hey,
one bigger than that kid.
It's the giant inflatable goose on the yard, and you just cut it down.
Yeah,
and
it's wearing
soak
a
it up.
blue bonnet.
Sheesh. Cover up, Mr. Goose. So yeah, that's the vampire. I didn't know about this whole sickle over the corpse thing, but that's pretty metal.
Yeah, it's definitely
Um,
like a. They were in the village, and someone was like, "That's my sickle. Do we have to do this?" And someone's like, "Do you want to fucking take that chance, brother?" And he's like,
Like, hey man,
shit.
he's like, you're right.
You're right."
Yeah, right. Like some farmer is pissed.
They were totally thinking that they lived in a vampire-free society because so many vampires were popping up, getting their heads immediately cut off, and then back to dead.
And turns
And I
out,
can't prove them wrong.
yeah, you listener, can you doubt it?
Yeah, do it.
But you know what you can do? You can follow us on Monday Morning Macabre on Instagram,
there it is.
MM Macabre Pod on Twitter, and MondayMorningMacabre.com for Patreon and merch and all that good stuff. Tell a friend, tell 2 friends, tell 3 friends, and then bury yourselves with sickles.
If you're a Patreon member, check out your bonus episode.
Yeah, eat up that bony.
That's Stromboni.
We hope you enjoy, and hopefully my son's rash fades away and I can get some sleep again.
Yeah, shout out Rashaway.
Shout out Rashaway Beach.
Rashaway,
Uh,
Rashaway all.
And besides that, guys, have a good Monday.
Boy.
Boy.